you are.
Hi, welcome to the Unentitled Podcast, and look at this living room that I decorated.
Nobody will believe that.
It looks so good, doesn't it? I did this all myself. No help whatsoever. I bought every single piece and placed it where it was supposed to go.
No. You went even further than that. You hand painted
Yes.
pictures on the wall.
Yes, I did. I did, all by myself.
What are you, designer? See if it's like furniture, it's designer. So you got designer
Yeah.
furniture. Yeah.
The Jeffrey brand.
El Cheapo.
That's basically what it is. But hi, yeah, welcome back.
We're back.
Yeah, that's. It wasn't just a one-time thing. It was kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Normally, I give up after the first one. So it's all downhill from after.
Downhill.
Shut up.
Downhill.
Before we start, I want to apologize. This cord is terrible.
Get a new one.
if
Don't touch it. Oh, now it won't do it.
Now it's fine. Of course. At least nothing's going wrong. You know what I mean?
How would you say that?
Sorry.
Not superstitious, but
Yeah, but there it was. Hear that? Hear that? Okay. So basically, I don't know what the title of the podcast name is yet. Or like not unentitled, but I mean like
this episode.
yeah, what the title of the episode is, because you have questions
Yeah.
that you wrote down that we're going to answer.
Yes.
And I have not heard them yet, so I don't know. I don't know what to.
Don't touch anything. Okay.
I don't know what to call it yet. So
Yeah. So I had 7 questions that we were like could go through last time, and we only made it through 2. So I have 5 left.
right, yes.
So kind of just a introduction part 2 kind of thing, or
Introduction.
food for thought. Food for thought. You
Food
ever
for
heard
thought.
that expression?
Yeah, I've heard that expression.
Yeah.
It's a good expression. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's
Jump in.
let's just jump in. Let's just do it.
Okay.
Well, actually, like and comment, and
Or not.
No. You don't have an option. Like and comment,
You
or
can't bully people.
I will come to your house. I know where you live.
That's creepy.
Sorry.
Okay. We're going to start. We're going to move past that.
Yeah, okay. That's probably a good idea. All right.
All right. So, what is the first thing listed on your resume?
Ooh.
Like
hot stud. Sorry.
Babe.
Wait, is it for you?
No, not my resume. Your resume.
Oh,
Who are you referring to?
myself.
Oh,
but
okay.
I didn't like.
Okay, so you're a hot stud. I'm not.
No, you're not a stud. That's the.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. First thing on my resume. Probably that I have a bachelor's degree. Even though it's like
Okay.
the most basic degree that you could get in a bachelor's degree.
Okay,
you
do
know,
we
like
dive
in
in?
English.
I've personally had this question. We're gonna like rabbit trail here. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to get this off.
Why?
Okay, it's not working.
Why?
So I was gonna clip this in, but it's okay. It's okay. Let's rabbit trail.
Okay, we're good at that.
Do you need a degree, a bachelor's degree, an associate's degree to basically have a life? That's kind of almost gaslighting, certain language. Do you need a bachelor's degree to have a life?
I'm gonna say, man, this is hard because no, but I feel like it would be a lot harder to get anywhere without it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it also goes back to like there's this weird thing like after you graduate college where it's like, okay, you have this degree in business or engineering or whatever, and you go to get a job and it's like, oh, well, you need 5 years of experience. Okay, one, it was a 4-year program, and two, they don't count anything that you did in those 4 years as experience. So it's like, all right, so I get a degree to not do what I went to get a degree for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like in that aspect of it, it's like, then what's the point of getting a degree? You know what I mean? I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Okay. Well,
tough.
I'll answer the question and then I'll elaborate on my rabbit trail. What's the first thing listed on my degree or my resume? I've not looked at my resume in how long have we been? 3 years? 2 or 3 years since we got out of college. Yeah, I did my resume up to get a entry-level job at a bank right out of college, and I worked there for 6 months, and then I quit. And nobody at my current establishment, none of my employees or my mom, who is my boss in a way, my co-owner, none of them have asked to look at my resume to know if I'm qualified or not. I'm a little mad. I worked really hard on that formatting, and nobody wants to know what my accomplishments are and if I know how to work Microsoft Office.
Because you do.
Yeah, I do, guys.
I do, dang it.
I do. So people ask me to look at my resume, okay? So I feel validated in the hours that I spent listing all of the skills that I have and totally use on a daily basis. Okay, so to elaborate on that then, I think college, okay. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it and I'm going to mean it, but then I'll have to add on. College is a waste of time.
Okay.
Having been in school for almost all my life, college is great. College teaches you things that you would not learn.
Right.
Had you went straight into the workforce after it. But it's kind of like choosing path A or path B. You're always going to miss out on something. So either gaining the experience, but you don't have the formal schooling, or you gain the formal schooling and you don't have the experience. Right. So right now we're in a culture where the formal schooling is more appropriate and it's deemed more worthy because they basically equate almost wealth, I think, to it. So they're thinking, okay, they got a degree, which means that they were willing to invest personally in themselves by paying for a degree. Like, I think that's really the overall benefit, what people look at when they're like, oh, they have a degree. Right. They actually invested in themselves to learn.
It's not only
a skill.
Investment in like money wise, but it's also investment in skills,
time. I mean, you're putting your life on hold for 4 years to go live like in a hovel with a bunch of other college age students and go to classes and stuff. So college does teach you things, but I think college is extremely overrated. Unfortunately, it's just that there's very much an emphasis put on it today. And, you know, not that I fell for it. I believe that college was the way for me to go. But, you know, shout out to all the people that actually went to trade school or are actually entering the workforce and getting that reliable experience that's really hard to come by.
You're definitely making more than us.
Yeah, you are. Interning, shadowing, actually just getting your hands dirty. That should count. There's the key word, should count for just as much as a degree. Often it doesn't.
If not more, honestly.
Yeah, so I'm not saying there's a way to break the cycle or fix the cycle. I'm just kind of looking at it for what it is. College is an overrated necessity in today.
Yeah, honestly, I do agree with that. If you look at it too, a lot of the degrees that people get make less money than people that go to trade school.
That's true.
And that is just a sad fact.
Right. Looking at it economically, it's just because everybody put such a force on going to college that now the college industry is flooded and people are making all this money and stuff, but then the job market is then flooded with all these people who are qualified. Kind of what we've been saying. Just because you have qualifications doesn't mean you're qualified. So
Right.
you have all these qualifications. You have, a completely built out resume, and you have nothing that you can actually apply it to.
Right. Right.
Besides what, a semester of tech taught you. I can work a computer.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a big difference between that and actually getting your hands dirty and learning something for yourself. Because it's also, going a little bit deeper, it's different when you have a professor or a teacher, tell you that you have to do something for an assignment. It's a completely different ballgame when you yourself are in the workforce and you're in a position maybe where you have to figure out a solution, or you're coming up with a more efficient format or way for something, and you actually have to figure it out. It's completely different because you're actually invested in the activity that you're doing. So if you're maybe making a spreadsheet, or you're planning a schedule or something, it's different than if somebody tells you, oh, well, do this as an exercise. No, you actually have to do this, or else you're not going to have the spreadsheet that you need, or you're not
Right.
going to have the schedule that you need made, or things like that.
Yep. Which you struggle with that a little bit whenever you had employees and had to make a schedule. Like in the beginning, it took you like a
It
hot
would take
minute
me
to
the
figure it
whole
out.
month to make the schedule.
Yeah.
Now, going back to, last podcast, we did talk about how I'm really, really bad at estimating. And so that is something that I've improved on. So there's a big part of
12
that.
gallons of skim
12
milk.
gallons of skim milk, guys.
Yeah. We talked about that last time, right? I'm
Yeah, we
pretty sure
did. We unfortunately did.
Yeah.
We unfortunately did.
I think we'll bring that up every podcast. Just letting everybody know, Abby is bad at estimations.
I'm very bad at estimating.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're good. Sorry. I'm done.
Anyway, yeah, well, I can't finish the thought. It was skim milk.
Oh no, you were talking just about whoa, what just happened? Oh, I turned myself down on my headphone. I was like, I can't hear myself. What's going on? Okay. So I have like a wheel on my headphones that like can control volume. I accidentally hit it. I was like, I can't hear. Did I lose my voice? Am I actually talking? What is going on? Sorry. You were talking about the schedule and how you were bad at estimating. It take you a month to do.
Well, that I was digressing. Yeah.
Oh.
So just that actual experience should be in today's time worth more than going to college and getting hypothetical experience.
Yeah, right. Because to a boss or somebody that you're applying, like for a job, it's worth more to have experience than it is to have a well, I feel like it would be. I think that a lot of people first they look at do they have a degree, and then they look at experience. And it's sad because, we're talking about how having experience is greater than a degree. But if you look at it, most people, if you don't have a degree, they just throw out your resume.
No, that's exactly what they do. So, talking about, big corporations and stuff, I'm not going to name any, but you can name some big time corporations that go through hundreds of thousands of applications in a day or whatever. They actually don't physically go through, like HR doesn't go through all of those applications. They have almost like a reader thing. I don't know the exact details, that goes through and marks and looks for certain keywords. And if they don't basically have like a high enough percentage or whatever, that they get scrapped and thrown away. So you're not even getting to an actual person looking at your application or your resume. It's just going straight in and straight out.
Right. Which is why it's important to have like a page resume.
Well,
page and a half. You don't want to flood your resume.
I'm saying that your resume is dependent completely on your job, because look at me, I don't even use a resume. You don't use a resume. None of my employees, when we hired them, had resumes.
No, they didn't actually.
Yeah. In fact, we didn't even have a formal application process. Like, we're just like, oh yeah, you showed up, here you go.
There was
Start
a couple. I'm not gonna name any names, but there were a couple that had their moms.
There were quite a few.
Their moms
that
texted
their moms asked,
and was like, hey, you all hiring?
We're like, oh, well.
Maybe.
Yeah. It
What
just
you
worked out that
offering?
way. Yeah, when we were really small. So it was based on connections. So that also takes a look at microscopic business organization like, our coffee shop or something like a big name brand company corporation. So it's a lot different. So your resume and basically what skill or degree or whatever that you have that you're working towards depends on what job you want.
Right. That is true. I will say, because my experience in college was, I was going to be a teacher. The last month of my college career, I was like, no way. And I swapped, but I had all that experience of, student teaching and stuff. But I will say, if you're going to be a teacher, you will find a job. There are a couple fields like that if you're going to do it, you will find a job. You may not make a ton of money, but you will find a job in the degree that you picked. And teaching is like number one because they're so desperate for people.
Which is sad.
It's not sad. People are just done with kids, honestly.
No.
But,
I feel so bad.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for teachers. I feel so bad for kids.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Both sides,
okay.
Yeah.
We are digressed. That was a loaded question, though.
It was a little bit, but that's
question.
okay. That's okay.
It
It brought up good conversation.
Yeah.
It's, I guess, well, let's dig just a tiny bit deeper into it, right? So, like, let's say that somebody doesn't really want to go through like a process of resume and like having to get a degree and stuff, but they have a skill in something that they want to like spark. Do they try to find a company like the coffee shop? We've had a couple people like their moms were like, "Hey, can they work here?" And then when the people came, they really had a passion for like not only the coffee and making and serving people, but like for the customers and the business itself. And there's a lot of them that want to continue to see this business grow. And so, do they like how do they spark that skill without? It's okay. He's fine.
He had to grab the one with the squeaker
in it. Yeah,
noise.
He's fine.
Okay.
But how do they spark that skill? Like, do they go for a big business without like a resume and a degree, or do they like go local, or do they start their own?
All right.
What would you, I guess, recommend in that situation? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm paring that question down a little bit, and I'm also going to apologize because I'm going to sound a little bit like a business broken record, and I don't mean to, because I don't want to be just another repeat of the same things that you hear. But that right there, it actually comes down to connections, I think, pretty much completely. So depending on what you're going to want to do, just like, I mean, it sounds, funnier because it was their moms, but their parents had connections and they were able to get us into the position. They were able to get their kids into the position with us.
Right.
And they knew that they'd have a passion for it. Their parents, obviously because they're the parents, knew the skill set that they had and where they would shine. And so they're the ones that reached out and said, "Hey, I think that my kid would be great working here with you." And it wasn't all parents. We did have some people that were like, "Hey, I would love to work for you." They had connections with us and they came to us and they're like, "Hey, this is what I can bring to the table. Like, what do you think?" And so those connections are what made us kind of benefit. And connections are honestly going to get you in pretty much anywhere. So if you have somebody that's on your side, that you know somebody who knows somebody, follow it.
Yeah.
Because even in the big name corporations, if you know somebody that works there who's really good friends with the boss or whatever, that's going to go a lot longer than if you're just turning in an application and then getting in and out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you have someone that'll give a recommendation, like you're going to be above the people with the application because it's somebody's word that the person trusts.
Yeah. So going back to the college, in college you're paying for knowledge. But there's also, if you can form connections with the right people, you're actually going to be able to get knowledge for free through internships, through just candid conversations. I know I've had a lot of conversations with people about the topic of college and kind of like, hey, I'm a little bit older. Is it worth it for me to go to college for this and this and this? Or I'm already in a position where I'm using the skills that I would be learning in college. Is it worth it? And I'm like, no, because what you're doing is sometimes better than what you were doing if you were learning in a classroom. Right. You're learning the same stuff, and here you don't have to pay for it. You're already in a job, and you don't have to put your life on hold to do that.
Right.
So it doesn't, so matter much as how you get the knowledge, just as long as you get the knowledge.
Right. And there's all kinds of tools to do that.
Exactly. So making connections with people that can help you. So if you want to start your own business, find somebody who can help mentor you. There's a lot of programs for like business mentorship.
Right.
There's a lot of people that have already carved paths ahead of you. Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't do something that somebody else has already done.
Right.
Just learn from them and then make it better.
Right. Yeah. No, that's totally fair. And an example that I have of putting your life on hold is not only like the 4 years of college, right? But an example that I had that was ultimately one of the factors that made me quit teaching, along with some other things, was that I had a whole semester of student teaching, which was a full-time job, without getting paid.
Yeah.
And, we were supposed to get married during that time.
Yep.
And so I had $7,000 in my savings account that was supposed to last for a whole semester of not getting paid and also pay for a wedding. And there was absolutely no way that I could.
Well, delving even deeper, that's when we had started the business. So I had no reliable income either.
Right. Yeah.
And so we were getting ready to start a life together, and we were going to go in the hole before we even started.
Yeah.
Each of us.
Yeah.
It was
and
just
I
going to be a
like,
disaster.
There's no possible way for me to
Survive.
Yeah.
It would have set us up for failure.
I bet this looks different. Not as good. Well, maybe it doesn't look bad though. My camera overheated, so not good.
Next question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Next question.
But we were pretty much finished with that one anyway, so it works out perfect.
Yeah, it was all good.
All right. What degrees or certifications do you have? So this one.
Do I have?
Yeah.
I have an English degree.
Yeah, this one's kind of. It's kind of a mid question.
I'm a certified gangster. I'm just kidding. We have a special guest Nugget right there as well. If you're watching the video and not the audio, Nugget has joined us and is playing with his penguin.
Say hi, Nuggy.
Oh no, he got camera shy. Okay.
So this one kind of goes hand in hand with the resume, because the same thing with the resume, it's listing all the degrees and certifications and skills that you have. So
I have customer service experience,
we should just skip that one.
What?
Skip that question.
I mean,
because we covered it.
We did kind of cover it, but I want to hear your degrees and certifications.
Well, I have qualifications does not mean I'm qualified. We say that.
My word. Okay, so that was a dumb question.
Well, I wrote these down a while ago, okay?
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Next one.
Next one.
Let's go. We don't care. You know what?
Degrees and certifications
No, hang
don't
on.
matter.
That question was because we don't care
Yeah.
about qualifications or degrees.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry.
Yeah, we care about, truthfully, hard work. Hard work is where it's at.
Yeah.
Degrees and certifications, they're cool and all. They can get you, certain stature and tenure and everything. But hard work is where it's at. Okay. So this one is a better one. What is the most overrated skill that you possess?
Overrated?
Overrated.
Can I be honest?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the video work that I do might be a tad bit overrated. Let me specify. Okay. And this is going to sound so high and mighty. I don't mean it that way. Okay, this is pure facts. Okay. An example, the end of year recap video for the Board B.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, this is a Hollywood masterpiece." And I did it in an hour and a half in the morning, and that was it. It didn't take long at all, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, this is the greatest video for a charcuterie
Kind of like the
place.
holy grail.
Yeah, that I've ever seen. And I'm just sitting here like, that took me an hour and a half, and I literally was just like, oh yeah, this picture looks good. Let's do it this way. And that was it. And it's kind of like I've done it so much,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that I have a way that I like to do things, and it's like, yeah, I can just whip it out pretty quickly. And that's why it's overrated, because when everybody sees something that I can do, they're like, oh my gosh, this guy, like, he must have spent like 50 hours in a day on that thing. I was like, no, I did it an hour and a half this morning, as I was drinking a hot chocolate with espresso in it and downing a brownie, like.
Your average Joe.
Yeah. So.
But the coffee and yourself.
Yeah.
Average Joe.
Right. Average Joe. Right. Yes. So that's what I would say. And like, I know that a lot of people don't know how to do that stuff.
But for you, it's just easy.
Yeah. It's just, I guess I just think that way,
Mm-hmm.
And I've done it like forever. When I was like 8, I had action figures and would do stop motion stuff,
That's
and
really dorky.
it is very dorky, yes, but everything that I can do now is because I was just so like, I wanted to make something so bad that I just like figured out ways to do things, and now it's just like,
Yeah.
boom, and
Yeah.
there it is. What about you? Overrated skill that you have?
Overrated skill. Okay, people make fun of me all the time, especially at work. My coworkers, they get on me whenever I make lists. Okay, it sounds dumb, and it just sounds like a super type A personality, which is what I am. But those lists, they save our business. Okay.
That would
I
be
have-
underrated.
I think overrated. Oh, is it? I think it's
Mhm.
overrated because people think that. Oh no, I guess you're right. It is underrated.
That would be underrated. Yeah, because people don't think it
Then
means
I don't have anything overrated. I just have something underrated. But my list, they're fantastic, and they keep our business. Hi, Nike. They keep our business running. Okay.
Okay.
You don't believe me? That's why it's underrated.
Yeah, it's not overrated.
Yeah, you're right.
It's underrated.
It's underrated. Okay.
You don't have anything overrated?
Can't think of anything overrated. Just my lists.
My word. Okay. All right. Then that's it. That's all we got.
I'm trying to. Can you think of anything overrated?
A skill that you have that is overrated.
Skill that I have that's overrated.
It is difficult. 'Cause
Okay,
you don't really have.
You answer what's the most underrated skill, and I'll think about it.
For me,
Mm-hmm. So what's
my
your
most
underrated?
skill? Oh gosh, underrated. This is gonna sound like almost like contradictory, I guess you could say. Most underrated skill, I would say, would be taking pictures or videos of the charcuterie boards and stuff, like during the event. I don't like it. Is there are so many times that I go back and look at the pictures, and I'm just rushing to get out of there because it's like so quick, we're building the stuff and it's done, and it's
Right.
15 minutes before people are coming in to start like digging in and eat, and I'm just like 9 times out of 10 I don't even have my gear. It's just my phone
Mm-hmm.
taking the pictures. And even then, like, I don't set up any lights or anything, and so a lot of the pictures that come back is like, oh yeah, those are cool. I was like, you don't know.
You don't know what I've been
You don't
through.
understand what I've been through to get these pictures. You appreciate it. That's what I would say, the underrated.
That's fair.
And it's not like taking the pictures themselves that's underrated. It's the fact that we're on
You
a
had to do it on
time
time
crunch.
crunch, yeah.
Okay, little rabbit trail, thing. I freaking hate weddings so much.
Wow.
I hate weddings.
You know,
like
just
for
somebody's
charcuterie.
happy beginning. You're just like,
I hate it. Cannot. Oh my gosh. It's not that. This is why. Okay. You know, I know. In the back of my head the entire time, I know that nobody's gonna remember me at the wedding. It's all about the bride and the groom.
yeah.
You know?
You're not that important.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, totally. But it is just so stressful to me for some reason. I don't know why. Just the thought of like, oh my gosh, if I do something wrong, this whole thing is going down.
I'm the catalyst, the pin that keeps everything
yes,
together.
literally. So that's, yeah.
You're one mistake
Don't-
away from ruining these people's special day
Yes,
for eternity.
exactly.
You're going to be the problem.
Exactly. But most people are just
The
like,
person in
whatever.
every single story where they're like, yeah, remember what happened at so-and-so's wedding?
Yeah. Yeah.
That caterer guy.
Yeah, the
Just
guy taking the
flipped the
pictures.
cake.
Yeah, yeah. Most of the time, though, everybody's pretty chill.
Yeah,
You know.
You're lucky. You get a lot of good people.
Yeah.
That they aren't really bridezillas and stuff. Bridezillas are real things.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of those, but still in the back of my head, I'm like, what if they are? What if I die today? Because I ruined the day, you know? Don't like weddings. I could do without the weddings. People are fine, but the weddings themselves, just the event itself is like, oh,
Yeah.
don't like it. So,
I still can't think of anything overrated that I do. But I know there is something. So I'm just going to talk
you know
about
what?
underrated.
I have something overrated that you do.
That I do?
Mhm.
Okay.
There's a couple things that I just thought of.
Oh, okay.
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 The menu for the Square system.
That's overrated?
Or no.
That's
No,
underrated.
That's underrated.
See,
oh my gosh.
it's so hard.
I got confused.
I am just not appreciated in my job at all.
Everything I do is underrated.
Everything. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So we'll just talk about underrated things. So
Okay.
I do most of the organization with just random lists. Okay. Like
So
I have
the Square system would be underrated.
the Square system would be underrated too because I spend hours. Hours upon hours, and they're like, "Oh, hey, can you jump in and fix this?" And I'm like, "You don't understand.
You don't get
You
it.
don't understand what it would take to just fix." So, like, there's something in the system, right? Like, we have our POS system, and it's not in alphabetical order. And they're like, "Hey, it'd be really nice if you could make the alphabetical order." And it's not, I'm not bashing anybody. It's not like anybody's been like, "Hey, like, we need this to be in alphabetical order." We're like, it's really just hard. They're not being whatever. I know it would make their lives easier. I've tried to do it, and then I get in there to do it, and I realize that it's not just putting things in alphabetical order. I literally have to like redo the whole thing, which it took me an hour to make that thing. So then it would take me a whole like 15 minutes to deconstruct it, and then an hour to reconstruct it, plus an
Right.
extra 15, 30 minutes to reconstruct it right. So it's just a whole mess, right? And so I have redone our systems, 3 times? 4?
Three. I
Three,
think.
three. And every single time
Hours.
I procrastinate for weeks on end
Because you don't want to
because
do
I
it.
hate it so much
Yeah, it's
because
bad.
I can get a portion of it done. I can get like one half of a menu done. And I'm like, yeah, I did this. And it's only one half of a menu and we have 5.
And I will say too, I've been there when you've been proud of you doing something for the menu, and people are just like, okay.
Yeah, seriously.
like there
appreciate
is-
me, guys. I know you're watching. Appreciate the effort that I put into Square, okay? Because it's a lot.
Square is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's underrated, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But it's also something you don't think about because, you know, big time, whatever, somebody else, that's their whole job.
Right.
So it's just another one of those things that you don't think about, that when you're running a small business, you are it. And then underrated, we have like a whole corkboard in the back full of just paper copies of lists that I've made, cleaning lists, ordering lists, organization lists, and everybody follows those pretty religiously. So yeah, it's still underrated, but we follow them pretty well, and it keeps us on track. Like, that's what keeps us on track for the week. It's what keeps us on top of things. So I say those are underrated too, but the Square system probably is way more underrated than
Yeah,
the
for
lists
sure.
are. The lists
For
are
sure.
like, I just appreciate them. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, if I had to pick something, I think the social media, same thing with you. Like, I'll like snap a picture, and I mentioned last week that we reuse a lot of our pictures just because they're nice pictures, and we'll just, put them up with, different caption or different oh, my people are texting me. Different captions or stickers or whatever on it. And they're like, oh my gosh, this looks so cute. And oh, this looks so great. And I'm like, that's a picture that I didn't even take, guys. I had Miss Jan send that to me like 4 weeks ago.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I should use this picture. So there's something overrated that they're like, oh my gosh, like this looks so cute. And I'm like, no.
Not to say that social media is not time consuming.
Yeah, I'm lazy.
Yeah.
It should take more time.
Yeah. And because we are stretched so thin in so many areas, we like don't put as much time as we should into it.
Right.
But
yeah, so social media is an area for growth. Rabbit trailing. Social media is an area for growth. We talked a lot about this last week, but for us right now, actually running the business, that's one of the things that kind of takes the back burner. And we do get new business from social media, but right now it's not our priority because our priority is word of mouth. And the way to continue to get good word of mouth is by taking care of the customers in front of your face instead of thinking, oh, I need to make sure I'm doing so-and-so posts a day and this and that and running marketing ads and products and pictures and all of that stuff. So we're focusing on, hi, this is a person in front of me. How can I make their experience so great that they go out and tell their whole family? So that's the primary way for us to gain followers. And so Facebook is just a small reflection of that. And that's what it is, a reflection. That's not our main drive.
Yeah.
So that's why it's overrated, because for everybody else, it is something that's really popular and really something that would, be focused on. And it's something that's not for us because that's not our main priority.
And ours are
now.
And yeah.
Main priority right now.
There's a lot of other main priorities. I don't know if this will be out before the thing that I'm doing.
Oh, you save it for next week. Yeah, because I don't know.
No, not the next time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It should be out by then,
Mm-hmm.
I think. But as of right now, I don't know if it will be or not.
We'll wait.
It's kind of
We're procrastinators. We'll wait.
Yeah. Yeah. Just kind of dropping that in there and teasing you a little
news.
bit. Teasing a little bit,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that.
Okay. So I have one more question, but it's a really big question. So I don't know if you want to save it for something completely separate.
We got like 20 more minutes, 25 more minutes.
Oh, then let's hit it,
Let's
okay?
go.
And
Let's
then
do
we might just need to like touch up on this more specifically later on because it is a big one.
Okay.
And these aren't really related at all, so this is still just kind of introductory.
Yeah, just kind of.
We'll get on to more.
More solid thing.
More solid foundation of this is what this episode is actually supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you approach conflict?
Oh man.
Oh.
I forgot that was a question on here because you told me the questions before.
I did.
Totally forgot about that one.
Through.
Oh my gosh. How do okay.
See, do we save it? We might need to save it.
No, let's go for it. All
right.
Let's tackle it.
Okay.
We aren't wusses.
Okay.
Okay. I think that though you're gonna hate me for this. I think it'd be better if you answered this question first.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Before you answer, let's get a little specific.
Mm-hmm.
Is the conflict between your team? Or is the conflict with a customer?
Let's take a scenario.
Outside?
You make up a scenario, and we'll say how we would respond to it. How about that?
Okay, so a scenario for conflict. Let's say that John.
Mm-hmm. John's position is
kitchen staff.
All right, so John works with food,
and
he's having problems with Susie. Who's Susie?
Susie is the dishwasher.
Okay, so employee to employee, coworkers.
To employee.
Ooh.
John, does not clean off utensils or pots or anything before putting it in the dishwasher.
Oh!
And it's nothing that is like super serious. You know what I mean?
Just
But
petty.
it is just enough for the dishwasher to be like, what in the world? is going on?
Inconsiderate.
Yeah, inconsiderate. That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so it's really inconsiderate from the dishwasher's point of view, okay? But in reality, John probably is just thinking, I have bigger fish to fry. And he's like, we gotta
literally.
Yeah, he's like, we got to keep this moving. You do your job, I do mine. Okay. Dealing with conflict. Okay, here is a great to touch back on earlier. I could have a complete answer for you based on my college experience, okay? And it would be completely different than what I would actually do. So my college experience would say that I need to take each of them and in separately and talk it over with them and come to the root of the problem, which is that John is not being considerate because he is worried about actually getting out orders, most likely what's happening. And Susie is feeling like he is not being a very good teammate to her, not realizing that they're on a team and that he needs to be more considerate of his teammates, particularly her, working and doing. And see, I call them teammates because at the Remnant, we are coworkers. We're, employees, employers. But really, we call each other the Remnant crew. We're a team first and foremost. So that's why I'm referring to them as that. That I think that really makes a difference because we are all a team. We don't have a formal structure within our business to the extreme. So we don't have a manager who talks to an assistant manager who talks to a shift manager who talks to this, right? So we have such little staff that we're kind of all coalescing with, hey guys, if we have a problem that comes up or something, we're going to communicate with everybody that's present and come to the root of it or figure out how to do it. And if you can't handle something, you're going to go to somebody that you think can. So it's very much more amoebic in a sense instead of a formal hierarchy. So that's why I'm referring to them as teams. So I'm applying this as something that would have happened in my business. They're team members. They're actually supposed to work together as a team. It's not that Johnny is more important than Susie as a primary dishwasher and a kitchen staff because they're the same. Gotcha. They are the same. Okay. So formal college intuition would say take each of them, figure out the root of the problem, talk it over, and then have a secondary meeting with each of them and be like, hey, watch out for this, and then have a time period where you observe, see if it's corrected. If it's not and needs to be escalated, you bring them in together. Kind of go from there to resolve the problem without actually escalating it to where they're fighting or whatever, catching it before then. That's the college answer.
Okay.
The real answer
world.
is that you're actually working with real people, and it's probably that Susie was having a bad day, or that John, good old Johnny boy, was kind of mad because his wife said something at home or whatever. Like, it's a lot more complicated than that. And yeah, you can go through and you can have meetings with them, and I'm not saying that won't fix it. I'm saying that it's a lot more complicated, and that's I feel like that's almost too impersonal.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I see what
that's
you're
impersonal.
saying.
You're saying, hey, separate work and life. We're humans. It's hard to separate work and life because you're still living your life even when you're at work. So something that I would personally do is I would check in the moment with them. If I noticed this was going on, or maybe Susie mentioned something to me in passing in the middle of a work shift, I would check in. I'd be like, hey, are you doing okay? As, a managerial kind of owner, head of them position, I'd be like, is there any way that I can make your job easier? Is there anything that we can be doing? And then I personally, if that doesn't fix it and it kind of gets it, we do have monthly team meetings. So we have opportunities specifically for things that we can say to the whole. So then I would personally bring it up in the next meeting. I'd be like, hey, this is a problem we're having. I'm not calling anybody out. Nobody needs to get angry about it. It was a little bit ago, but this is something that needs to be fixed and corrected. And if it's not corrected from there, we'll bring it up again. We actually have, and this is where experience is so important, because most of the time, 98% of the time, that fixes the problem.
Right.
So if you're having it, it's difficult from my limited knowledge because I am so new in this and because I have such a great team.
I mean, a year and a half.
And I have team members that are more like family, truly more like family than actual coworkers. Like they would die for each other. If they knew that they were causing distress to one of their coworkers,
Mm-hmm.
they would want to fix it. It's not that they're
Right.
out to get somebody. It's not that they have this underlying petty desire to destroy the other person. They would want to fix it, and they're often very good to actually come in and correct their own mistakes. So
Right.
I've had multiple times where they've had an attitude or whatever, and they'll come in the next day and they'll apologize. They're like, hey guys,
Right.
didn't have this right attitude. Hey, I did this to you, so and so. I really need to get this fixed. So I don't even really have to enter into something like that for conflict. That it's able to work it out, and I'm just kind of mediating. I'm just being aware and kind of making sure that it doesn't escalate.
Right.
And the few things that have escalated, honestly, because of my age and my inexperience, I actually end up calling in on my mom a lot. So
Yeah.
she's the one that steps in with any bigger issues that we might have, because we're very new to this. So
Right.
conflict, best handled privately. Don't make it a public thing unless it has to be. Keep it on the down low and understand that these are real human beings and they're going to have feelings and emotions. And it's probably not, it's never what Susie thinks it is. It's never what Johnny thinks it is. It's just each their own impression.
Right.
It's like any relationship. So
Yeah. That is a really good way to put it. I like that. Now, conflict. Let's shift from employee to employee to employee to customer.
ooh.
So how Yeah, no, it's fine. I
Okay.
disabled it
Okay.
so that it would run faster. How would you handle a customer that
You need to go potty.
Oh, okay. Well,
Wanna pause it?
I'll ask this question and you just talk while
Okay,
while
that
I'm out
works.
there.
Okay.
How would you handle rude customers?
Rude
basically?
customer. Okay.
Yeah, just a customer that is like,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know,
All right. I'm gonna
where
gear up.
maybe even a situation that is like, hang on, Nugget, I'll take you out. Hang on. Maybe even a situation that is like, you not really like they're in the wrong. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
But you still like,
Yeah.
want to
Okay.
handle it well.
So
I'll
working
be right
in a
back.
coffee shop, coffee is very personal in the sense of ordering. So you can have, one term that's used in multiple different ways. So you have like a cappuccino, you have like a traditional cappuccino, you have a traditional cappuccino, you have like a cappuccino mix. So there's obviously a lot of exposure and a room for confusion within the coffee world, right? So it does create that creates most of our problems actually within ordering and customers, just because you can order at Starbucks, a cold brew with cream and sugar. At our place, you don't have to ask for cream. It comes with cream. You ask for sugar. So there's just a lot of inconsistencies overall with the coffee world. Makes it very different, makes it very difficult sometimes, and obviously has a lot of room for potential mad customers. We're really lucky, again, that we have a really good customer base. And we also strive, number one, to even prevent confusion in the first place. So there's a lot of times where we're going through and we are working with them. I used to always say I would often run cash register. That's my primary job at the coffee shop. You have to remember the names and you have to be a mind reader. Like, they expect you to just be able to read their minds and what they know. So I'm not saying that I'm like profiling them, but I'm profiling them. So I am figuring out, okay, what is it that you're saying that you're not actually really saying? And that's first off what I'm trying to do to eliminate confusion. So they're going to come in, they're going to say, I want a iced coffee with this and this and this. I'm like, okay. I'm like, based on my menu and the way that you just said that, this is what you actually want. So I'm doing that. And then I'm also communicating my changes with them. So I'm saying, okay, so this is how we do it here. And they get it because everybody does it different.
My bad. Sorry. Okay.
And they're like, okay, so number one, that's making them feel like, oh yeah, like these people, they're here for me. They're here to, get me what I want. They're not just trying to get me through the line.
Right.
That is our whole purpose and purpose as a coffee shop. It's our identity is to be the family for you that you didn't even know you needed. Okay. So we're going to do that, but there's always There's always sometimes that we can't be a mind reader. There's always sometimes that we mess up an order. And when it comes down to that, this is something that we work really hard for. Customer, you hear it in a lot of different places. Customer's always right. So if they don't like a drink, even if that's exactly what they ordered and they don't like it, we're going to get them a new drink, because that's what we would want somebody to do if we were in our shoes. Right. We've told this story a lot, but my youngest sister is an absolute coffee snob, with like all capital letters. Okay. Snob. Yeah. She barely drinks any coffee, and most of the time she won't even drink our coffee because it's still not good enough. She has to have like the most perfect shot of espresso with the most specific measurements of syrup and milk, or whatever it is, right? Like, she is such a snob. We go out to coffee shops, especially right before we open. We would go out all the time and do research, right? We're looking at how people have coffee shops set up. And so we're going in like pretty much every coffee shop we can find within a 2-hour radius. Yeah. And I can think of 1, maybe 2 places that she actually drank more than 1 drink of her coffee. And it's not that those places were bad. It's just that she's such a snob. And so we're going to get some of those people in there. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. They're just, high maintenance. And sometimes people won't like for high maintenance. Okay? She's one of them. We get some people that are like that. And you're just never going to be able to guess what they want, because they don't know what they want. So we've had some times where we have customers come in. They clearly say one thing. They clearly want another thing. We give them something in between, and they're still not satisfied. And, number one thing that we always do, we're so sorry. Let's get that fixed for you. We recommend trying this, and this. So we'll do that for them. And usually that is enough to kind of diffuse it, because we're apologetic. They, this sounds awful, but they got to keep they got to stay on their high horse. They're still in the right. So it was our fault, even though it wasn't. That's just the way customer service works. And you don't get customers every day. We're really blessed. We've very rarely I couldn't even call them complaints. Just, even like, hey, like, this coffee isn't good. That's not even a complaint to us. That's just, them communicating with us. Complaints, actually, I can count maybe on like one hand the amount of complaints that we have had. Right. And we're out to fix it. Like, we know that the best way, again, coming back to word of mouth, the best way to get people in the door is to give the people that are already in there the best service they've ever had. Mm-hmm. So when we handle complaints, we do whatever we can to make them happy. Right. And that's not an understatement. And it's derogatory at times, because you're going to go back in the back and you're going to roll your eyes. You're going to be like, you clearly said that. Like, guys, come on, just figure out what you want to drink. Maybe you can give me exact ounce measurements and temperature ranges that you want, or something to make this easier. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen. You just do it anyway, because that's customer service. Mm-hmm. We've luckily, never had any complaints that went further than that. I don't think we've never had a bad review. We had one bad sentence of a bad review, and it was something out of it was something out of our control. And it was actually funny, because the thing that they mentioned, we actually went and corrected, but they had already left, so they did not see the correction happen. So it was something that out of our control. It was another customer that was doing something, and so we went out and corrected it, and they hadn't stuck around to see it. So we've never had any complaints reach the point to where they're bashing us or they're coming against us, and we would love to keep it that way. So oh my word. Can you not? Please? So dealing with conflict,
Nugget.
He's
sniffing his butt.
Weirdo. It's disgusting. No, get away. Take the high road by taking the low road. It's your fault.
Yeah. Yep, that's a good way to put it. All right. Well, that's how you deal with conflict, everybody. I mean, I am a PR person, but I haven't really had to deal with any of that yet. Again, I'm pretty new to all the business stuff.
And we're really, really lucky. So honestly, it's kind of even hard for us to talk about conflict, because truly the worst thing was a single sentence that we've really ever had to deal with.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I've gotten close to having to deal with some stuff, but I don't know if I want to say anything about the Do I? I do.
What?
About
Conflict? Customers?
Yeah,
Rude customers?
the potentials that I've had to deal with.
We'll leave them anonymous. We'll continue taking the high-low road.
Okay. 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 So I shouldn't say anything.
No, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll just
We can
And
do a
we'll
more
wait for
in-depth
it.
conflict when we actually have more experience under our belts, guys.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one. That's a big one that we don't have a lot of experience with. Here's a question that a lot of people might ask, when starting a new
if
business.
you have like legitimate questions that Yeah,
You
please.
should ask them.
Not that like we'll know the answer, but it's fun to ask questions.
Yeah. And we can maybe help you find the answer as well. That would be cool, honestly. And it doesn't have to be about you starting a business or anything like that. It could even be like how we run ours.
Yeah.
Too, Doesn't have to be that.
Yeah, whatever you want to know.
Or if you want to know stuff about us, whatever. I'll answer stuff.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
You said you had a question, but you didn't tell me what it was.
Oh no. Oh, no. I don't. A question that somebody might ask.
Okay.
When like starting a business.
Mm-hmm.
How important is like a website? Because I have, and here's the thing, the Remnant and the Board B are like the same but different businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're under the same umbrella, but they're two separate businesses.
Mm-hmm.
But they work out of the same place, but it's still two separate things. So kind of weird right now, but that's just how it works. And I have my own thing with this, and I'm sure that you have your own thing with this too, because there's two totally separate businesses. What are your thoughts about a website?
Okay, the number one thing when I'm looking at a business, the number one thing I'm going to go do is their website. We're living in a day and age where the internet is the go-to place. You Google whatever question you have. You don't go to the library and find a book. Mm-hmm. You go online. Right. So if you don't have a website and if you only have a Facebook page or you only have an Instagram or whatever, your credibility goes down. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, you guys can't even like have a website, like the jank. That's what I'm thinking. So we have a website, and I will admit that I haven't updated in a while. So that's why I recommend having a website, but having a website that is super low maintenance if you're starting out with new business and small business, because you're not going to have time to invest unless that's your primary form of communication. So for us, it's just having a website. Our primary form of communication is through the Facebook page, but I still have our correct hours. I still have summaries of everything that we do and have. And I have our basic menu on the website. So that stuff can stay the same. There are some things that I do have to go in and change occasionally based on what we're doing.
But again, it's super low maintenance.
Yeah, it's low maintenance. You're not going to get everything that's on the menu at every specific time, but you're going to have a basis and foundation. You're so needy right now. You're so needy. Websites are important. Okay.
I agree. And there's a totally different vibe with your business and my business. Mm-hmm. Well, no, it's,
right.
The business I work for.
Yes.
And that is that our website is super high maintenance because it has to be. So we actually have online ordering. And so people can go on our website, pick what charcuterie box they want. Sometimes it's charcuterie classes. Like I set up all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I have to like daily go in and make sure that like, okay, do we have an order in the next coming week? Mm-hmm. And, double checking all that. And it is that in and of itself is super high maintenance. But it's also like pretty simple to set up a website.
Yeah. Yeah. There's templates.
Now, it used to be really not as user friendly.
If I can set up a website, guys, you can set up a website.
That is very true. Yeah, that's super
Go
true.
to theremnantdowntown.com and you will see my beautiful website design, made by yours truly and templates.
Now I didn't set up the website. I just set up the ordering and everything. Yeah, and I maintain it, right? So your website is through Wix, right? Mm-hmm. And then the one that I maintain is through GoDaddy. And both are solid options, I think.
Yeah.
I think GoDaddy gives you more. It gives you a lot more
Yeah.
options. And I don't think it's not as expensive, I don't think.
Well, it gets on an automatic payment. I just take care of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, either one of those options.
That would be a you department. You talk about that.
I talk about, that is a main department, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Websites are super important. Again, like Abby said, they give you credibility, and even if it's just a low maintained one, super, super important to have that. It brings up a whole nother thing of search engine optimization is what it's called, which is confusing. And I've actually taken.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't you have a certificate?
Yeah,
going back to the certifications you have.
Yeah, I do. I
Search
took like a it wasn't a super long class. It was like a 10-hour class
course,
or something like that. Just of search engine optimization, and it is insane. The amount of stuff that you have to think about and do, and like it's even deeper than the algorithm. Like some of the stuff, some of the stuff involved math, and I was like, oh my God. I mean, which is the algorithm, but like your own type of it was.
It's a whole separate series in itself.
Whole nother thing. But the good thing about Wix and GoDaddy is that there are certain areas that it'll like. I don't know about Wix actually. I've been working with GoDaddy. I used to know Wix, but it's been so long. I'm not sure if they have this, but GoDaddy, they have this thing like search engine optimization thing, right? Well, it'll like scan your page and be like, oh, well, you need these words because that matches your business. And is there any place on your webpage that you can put these words? Because if you put these words on your webpage, that makes Google go, oh, they know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? And so that's all the in a gist, that's all that search engine optimization is. But it goes for Facebook, websites, YouTube. It's all about having the right wording, you know?
Yeah. English major.
Yeah. Another thing that is super important, this is specifically YouTube. And, I know a lot about YouTube as well, just because I use it all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And whenever you're uploading a video to YouTube, there is a spot as you're scrolling down on the first page of the basic information. It says show more. You go down and it says tags. And what those are for is you tag stuff that you've talked about in the video. Oh. But you also tag different spellings of words. So like for my channel, it's Jeffrey Jordan, but my handle, my at sign, like my at thing is Beefy Jeefy. You know what I mean? And that is not a common spelling. So whenever I post a video in the tags, I'll put Beefy Jeefy the way that I spell it. So that if somebody searches something on YouTube and they're like, I tell them to search Beefy Jeefy, it'll be more prone to show up.
Oh. So do you have to, you said different spellings, do you have to put like Beffy Jeffy then too? Like if somebody accidentally mistypes it, or are you just saying?
You can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just linking your at sign to your video so that when somebody types in your at,
right,
your video pops up along with your at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the
so that's why like when you're searching on YouTube and stuff and you type in, Johnny Appleseed and Johnny Appleseed's page pops up, but then all of Johnny Appleseed's videos pop up because he has tags that have Johnny Appleseed.
Most of the time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, it's not only the tags. I mean, titles sometimes have that in it, stuff like that too. But yeah, that's a really important thing. And it also makes it to where, okay, in this podcast we talked about, a bunch of business stuff, conflict, customer service. So all of that can be tagged in there as well. So, yeah. I don't.
Just
I'm
widening your reach.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how I got onto that, but yes.
But we are.
Here we are. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I really got to say about the website.
Yeah, and I don't have any more questions, so you're gonna have to come up with something.
I say we can end it there.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Well, next week is on you. Next time is on you.
Yeah. Well, next time let's hope that thing happens.
Oh yeah, that will help a lot.
Because then we'll have a
lot of news, guys.
A lot to talk about if
news.
that thing happens.
Mm-hmm.
If the thing happens that we want to happen,
mm-hmm.
which should have already happened.
Isn't that life?
So, yeah.
Okay.
I want to apologize for the technical difficulties.
We've had a lot.
The camera, I don't know. I'm getting a dummy battery for my camera. I'm tired of it being the way that it is.
I'm just here for the ride, so.
Yeah, she doesn't, like, I set all this up, but she just sits there.
I sit
like,
here.
Are you ready to go? I've been looking pretty.
Just here.
Yeah. I mean, you have a lot of like good.
Yeah, I don't shut up.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I know that from home life.
Uh-huh.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Oh, also we have our special guest Nugget as well. He's been coming in. You've been hearing some random noises on the microphone or us going stop or
yeah, that's him.
That's Nugget. I left for a little bit. I had to take him out because he was being a brat.
He's vibing. He's a little spoiled.
Just a little. But all right. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, follow.
Say bye.
Whatever you're watching it on. It's, do the thing that it tells you to do. And it helps us out. It'll be fun, to see if this grows any more than what it has. I mean, for a brand new YouTube channel that I posted 2 videos on before, I got 40 views. And it's like steadily increased, after the initial post.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
It's kind of crazy to think about,
Regardless if you like it or not, we're still going to do it because it's fun. But
yeah. If nobody watches, I'm still going to do it.
Yeah. So watch, don't watch. Yeah. I don't care.
And if you didn't like it, then
just watch it for the dog.
Honestly, yeah.
He's pretty cute.
Dog clickbait. That's the title. He's here. The title of the podcast is "There Was a Dog in This Video," and see how many people we actually get from it. So,
let us know if you only came here for the dog.
Yeah, we would understand.
He tore this up.
Yeah, he tore up his toy. All his toys are.
He's a level 5 chewer, guys. Okay, we need to end it because he's not going to leave us alone now.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Thank y'all for watching. And that was the end of the second Unentitled podcast. We will see you in February.
Deuces, gooses.
Oh, my gosh. I don't want that to be the... That's our sign off. Deuces, gooses. Wow. Okay. Bye.